Hello, High Point family. I hope you're having a good day. I hope you're doing well. It's a little odd that we can't meet together. I find it very strange, but we'll try to have daily devotionals up to encourage you, and hopefully we can connect this way when we can't be together. Let me give you a word today. I want you to meditate on the word strong, or be strong. We may need a great deal of strength during these days. We're concerned about elderly family members. You may be concerned about financial things. Are you going to be laid off during this time? Are you going to be able to pay your bills? You're going to need to be strong. Some of you have a whole gaggle of children at home, and you're trying to homeschool them now. They used to be at school. You're going to have to be strong. I don't think there's a better example of strength in our Bible than the character of Joshua. What an incredible man he was, and God used him greatly. He was born into slavery in Egypt. He came out of Egyptian bondage with Moses, crossed the Red Sea, saw the works of God. And then he was one of those 12 volunteers who volunteered to go in and spy out the land, remember? And the Bible tells us that when they came back, 10 of the volunteers had no faith at all. They said, we can't conquer the land. There are giants in the land, and there are walled cities, and there's no way that we can survive. And Joshua and Caleb were different, though. So Joshua was a man of incredible courage. Let me read to you what he wrote in Numbers 14, starting in verse 6. But Joshua, the son of Nun, and Caleb, who were among those who had spied out the land, tore their clothes. That is, they tore their clothing when they heard the report of the other 10 spies. And they spoke, saying, the land that we passed through to spy out is an exceedingly good land. If the Lord delights in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us. A land which flows with milk and honey. Only do not rebel against the Lord, nor fear the people of the land, for they are our bread. Their protection has departed from them, and the Lord is with us. Do not fear them. What amazing courage Caleb had. I love that phrase when he says, these people are our bread. We are going to eat them like bread. I mean, we are going to eat their lunch. God has given them to us. He was a man of great courage, but he was also a man of astounding humility. God did not let the children of Israel enter into the promised land. Remember, they had to wander for the next 40 years in the wilderness. And what did Joshua do during that time? Well, he played second fiddle. He was a servant to Moses, and he was satisfied to do that. He didn't have to be in the limelight. He didn't have to be the leader. He was satisfied to be a servant. He was a man with a servant's heart, a man of humility. He was a man of courage. He was a man of great humility. Next, he was a man who had a deep spiritual passion for God and God's presence. I remember that passage that tells us that God would meet with Moses in the tent of meeting. God's presence literally would come down upon the tent of meeting. And the Bible tells us that Moses would get up and go on his way. But Scripture says that Joshua would stay in the tent. He didn't want to leave because God's presence was there. And even though God's presence would lift off of the tent of meeting in a sort of physical way, Joshua would not leave that sacred place. He had this deep passion for God's presence. And I think we ought to love that about Joshua. Finally, he was a man that had an incredible determination to serve God no matter what. They came to the far side of the Jordan River, and God told Moses, you are not going to enter into the promised land. And he took Moses home. And then he said to Joshua, now you're going to be the leader. You're going to lead the children of Israel into the promised land, conquer the walled cities, conquer these mighty armies. And Joshua was willing to do it. He said, you lead on, Lord, and I will follow you. And he did. And I love the instructions that God gave to Joshua in Joshua chapter 1. You can read them yourself, but I want you to notice specifically verses 7 through 9. And these words contain the phrase that I gave you at the beginning, to be strong. Here's what God said to Joshua. Only be strong and very courageous, that you may observe to do according to all the law which Moses my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it to the right hand or to the left, that you may prosper wherever you go. This book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate in it day and night, that you may observe to do all according to that is written in it. For then you shall make your way prosperous. Then you will have good success. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and of good courage. Do not be afraid, nor be dismayed, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go. During these uncertain days, it would behoove us to remember those amazing promises and the example that God has given us in Joshua to be strong no matter what, because our God is with us. Have a wonderful day.